Tonight, President-elect Bola Tinubu returns to Nigeria ahead of May 29th inauguration.
This one dream comes true. I've told you how much we have waited, how long we have waited.
More thumbs up for President Buhari's infrastructural development policies.
Best thing that we can do to support British nationals and indeed everyone in Sudan is push the generals involved in this conflict to bring it to an end.
And how far on evacuation of Nigerians in Sudan as crisis shows no sign of ending? Good evening and welcome to NTA Network News. I'm Cyril Stover in Abuja. Michael Olale joins us from Lagos and Yunusa Suleiman from Maiduguri. And you can follow us live on our website, NTA_live, NTA News Now on Twitter. President-elect Bola Tinubu is back in Nigeria after a month-long break in Paris. The president-elect arrived in the country via the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, this Monday evening. We'll bring you the details of that later on in the news. And President Muhammadu Buhari will depart Abuja for Accra on Tuesday, April 25, to attend the third extraordinary session of the Assembly of Heads of State and Government of the Gulf of Guinea Commission, GGC, convened by President Nana Akufo-Addo of Ghana. The president is scheduled to participate and deliver remarks at the high-level discussion on strategies for strengthening peace and security and the fight against maritime-related crimes in the region. As the immediate past chair of the Assembly, President Buhari had championed collective efforts by member states of the region, the Economic Community of Central African States, ECAS, the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, the Gulf of Guinea Commission, GGC, and their partners to address and prevent piracy. In June 2019, Nigeria's National Assembly passed the Suppression of Piracy and Other Maritime Offences Act 2019, which aims to prevent and suppress piracy, armed robbery, and other unlawful acts against a ship. The President will be accompanied by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyama, the National Security Advisor, Major General Babagana Mongudu, the Director General, National Intelligence Agency, Ambassador Ahmed Rufai Abubakar, among other government officials. And now let's give you an update on the crisis in Sudan. Evacuation flights were continuing early this Monday with hundreds of people flown out overnight on military aircraft. Foreigners also fled the capital Khartoum in a long United Nations convoy where millions of residents running low on food and water remain trapped inside their homes. Charles Alpha now brings us details.
US, China, Germany, France, and other European special forces have launched a rescue mission for embassy staff and their relatives, sweeping in with Chinook helicopters to fly them to a military base in Djibouti. U.S. forces will remain deployed in Djibouti to protect United States personnel and others until the security situation no longer requires their presence, President Joe Biden said on Sunday in a letter to the Speaker of the House. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak said UK forces had also rescued diplomats and their families, while Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said his country had temporarily suspended its evacuation operation.
Best thing that we can do to support British nationals and indeed everyone in Sudan is push the generals involved in this conflict to bring it to an end, and that will remain the priority of our diplomatic focus in the region.
Today we're talking about 343 Jordanian citizens who were evacuated from Sudan, in addition to a number of Arab brothers from Palestine, Iraq, Syria, and there are 2 citizens of Germany.
Across the city of 5 million, army and paramilitary troops have fought ferocious street battles since April 15, leaving behind charged tanks, gutted buildings, and looted shops. More than 420 people have been killed and thousands wounded, according to United Nations figures, amid fears of wider turmoil and a humanitarian disaster in one of the world's poorest nations. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
Well, I'm being joined now by the Chairman CEO of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, Honorable Abike Dabiri Erewa. Thanks for joining us on NTA Network News. All right, I'm assuming that you can hear me loud and clear. What's the situation regarding Nigerians in Sudan? What can you tell us? I'm sorry, we have some audio challenges there. We cannot hear you, but we're going to work on that and perhaps come back to you in a short while when we've fixed that glitch. In other news, as the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari winds down, some Nigerians say the president will be remembered for fulfilling his promise on the Calabar-Itu Road. Clement Barikui has an update on the road project.
Awarded at the cost of 185 billion naira, the 28.6 kilometers road project has been one of the campaign promises of past leaders before President Muhammadu Buhari. Work is progressing at the 3 sections of the road project, though slowed down by compensation issues.
This side is good, and there is no problem in this side. They are working in this side very good.
This is my father palm fruit. You know, they have not paid us, but that's what we are using to feed ourselves.
If you see from the 0 point there, they cannot continue the job from there because of a lot of houses here. They have not paid compensation. So that is the major challenge that even the contractor have with the community.
This one dream comes true. I've told you how much we have waited, how long we have waited. If without compensation they've come this far, then God knows how far they would have gone.
The challenges notwithstanding, the federal government is committed to completing the road projects.
This compensation issue is a national issue, and it has to do with some policy changes and all that. But I think the minister is working seriously on that. He's handling the matter, and I believe very soon there will be a resolution on that.
The Calabar-Itu Road project, with a 2-year completion tenure, is being financed through the NNPC tax credit. In Uyo, Clement Barikui, NTA News.
And now let's re-establish links with the chairman of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, Honorable Abike Dabiri, to talk about the situation of Nigerians in Sudan. Thanks for joining us. I'm sure at this time you can hear me clearly now. And yes.
Yeah, I can hear you, and I hope you can hear me.
All right. Yes, I can hear you now. So as we were saying earlier on, what's the status of Nigerians? What's the position about Nigerians who are trapped in Sudan as the war rages on?
Well, as I speak to you, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, who is responsible for evacuation, they've made quite a lot of progress, and buses have been gotten together so that by tomorrow morning they will be able to transport Nigerian students in Khartoum to Cairo. And we're looking at borders in Cairo, particularly Luxor and Aswan, where we can transfer the students to, and then from there they can be able to fly down to Nigeria. So that is the plan as of now, and we're hoping that by tomorrow morning that will happen. Now, it's very important that before we put the students on buses to go on that journey, there must be security. So the Minister of Foreign Affairs has been able to talk to the 2 sides of the divide to ensure that they keep our citizens safe while they drive through. Imagine 10 buses for instance, in a war situation, just going and then one enemy camp, one camp just, sees you and arrests you and say, look, you are an enemy. So we don't want to take our students from a dangerous zone to a more dangerous zone. So that was very important, and I'm glad that that has been sorted by the Minister of Foreign Affairs. So by tomorrow morning, again, funding, getting the buses paid for. There are challenges in a war situation. Imagine you pay for buses and the president disappears. What do you do? So, right. But in any case, by tomorrow morning, we're hoping that the buses will convey the students to Cairo in Egypt, to borders there, and then from there they will be able to be air freighted down to Nigeria. That is the situation as at now. But like I said, security in the movement is very, very, very important.
So we can assume
in Khartoum, in Cairo, in Ethiopia, they've all been working on that. Now I'll talk about some students that were stranded in Ethiopia.
Right, because
now we have 7 names of our students that got to that border. There were complaints that, they didn't let us in, but the mission has been in touch with them, and I believe that by now they would have been able to get through, and other Nigerians that are going through Ethiopia should be able to access through the border. And our mission in Ethiopia now also attempted to say, let us stay at the border, but the Ethiopian authorities refused because they have the Tigray crisis too, which is ravaging the country. So that is the situation as at now, and we're optimistic that very, very soon our students will be back home.
Right, so from what you're telling me now, we can assume that neighboring countries are offering assistance to Nigeria to evacuate its citizens from Sudan.
Sorry, I didn't get you. Can you repeat your question?
Right, I'm saying from what you have just told me now, we can assume that there's some partnership and some neighboring countries to Sudan are offering some form of assistance to ensure that Nigerians in Sudan are evacuated safely.
Yes, even Egypt is offering security too. Right. So the mission is talking to them on both sides. Our ambassador in Egypt is also arranging security from Egypt. So that it can be on both sides. Yes, so there's been cooperation. The relationship between President Buhari and the Ethiopian Prime Minister is very good. So we've been enjoying the goodwill of the neighbors to support us as much as they can. Yes.
Right.
And of course, our missions have been working 24/7 to ensure that
just before you go,
in this deadly war.
Just before you go, I'd like you to quickly respond to suggestions that Nigerian authorities might not have acted quickly enough to evacuate its citizens. I'd like you to respond to that quickly before you go.
Well, I don't know how quickly you can react in a war situation. Maybe yes, maybe no, maybe there are some bureaucratic bottlenecks. We're dealing with multi-agencies, NEMA, NIDCOM, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Humanitarian, Immigration, NI, everybody are working together. Now, when you say, I think it's more important to ensure that your students are safe than to just rush and put them in danger. I think that is very important. But whatever the criticism, the key thing is let us get our students back, or Nigerians back safe and sound. Now, which country has actually evacuated? Let's be realistic about it. You all talk about America. America took just their mission staff, diplomats. UK took their diplomats, and other UK citizens are complaining now that they are stranded. Now, when you say slow, do you want us to rush to Sudan, take away our diplomatic staff? We can use that diplomatic immunity, take them away just at one small plane and leave students stranded there. And we're talking about 5,500 students, if not more than that. So I'm today now the British are to a complaint. And can I just tell you something? 2 days ago, the Qataris, the French, even British had to turn back to Khartoum because they couldn't go anymore. Their lives were in danger. So it's a war situation. Nobody can predict it, what will happen. But I know that all agencies of government have worked around the clock to make this happen. Could it have happened earlier? Maybe yes, maybe no. But the key thing is nobody is taking any chances. Nobody is sleeping here. Everybody is working around the clock to ensure that this succeeds. And the most important thing is let us bring them back safe and sound. Do you want the mission to put them on the road, and then along the line something happens to them, then you say, oh, federal government, what happened? So it's a war situation. Let's understand that and go and listen to what people are saying down there. It's pathetic. And war never, ever, ever happen in our country, Nigeria. And may this war be over. And again, Sudan, we have about 5 million Nigerians in Sudan. You may say I'm exaggerating, but it's a huge population there. Right. The richest person in Sudan is a Nigerian. We always focus on America, Western world. Those are areas where we have a lot of Nigerians doing great things. And for those ones, that is home. They're not even thinking of coming. Because where do they want to go to? Everything they own is there. You know, so really, let's
we'll have to leave this. We'll have to leave this at this point, and thank you very much. Yes, thank you so much, Chairman. Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, Abikadabri Erewa. Thank you so much for joining us and giving us an insight into what the authorities are doing to bring back Nigerians who are trapped in Sudan. Thank you for coming on, and good to see you again. Thank you.
Thank you, Cyril.
Okay. The Nigeria Police Force says it is in receipt of a letter from the Independent National Electoral Commission on the alleged impropriety of Hudu Yunusa Ari, the Adamawa State Resident Electoral Commissioner, during the recently concluded supplementary election, calling on the force to investigate and possibly prosecute the REC for his actions. The Inspector General of Police, Usman Al-Kali Baba, orders an investigative team to work with INEC to expedite action on the content of the letter. While expressing the commitment of the Nigeria Police to upholding democratic values, the Inspector General assures Nigerians and the international community that the police will leave no stone unturned in unraveling the remote causes of the unwholesome conduct of the Resident Electoral Commissioner, as well as ensure that all persons fingered in the course of investigations are brought to book. And the All Progressives Congress 2023 Tinubu-Shettima Presidential Campaign Council has been dissolved after more than 7 months of operation. In a statement jointly signed by the Director General and Secretary of the Campaign Council, Governor Simon Lalong and James Faleki, the dissolution is to enable the transition and inauguration committees effectively carry out their assignments ahead of the May 29 inauguration ceremony of President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The statement commended the chairman of APC Presidential Campaign Council, President Muhammadu Buhari, national, state, local government and ward leadership of APC, the First Lady Aisha Buhari, wife of the President-elect Senator Oluremi Tinubu, and wife of the Vice President-elect Nana Kashim Shettima for their unwavering support throughout the campaign. Others acknowledged are the leadership and APC caucus of the 9th National Assembly, the APC governors and their wives, led by the chairman of the Progressives Governors Forum, Governor Abubakar Atiku Bagudu of Kebbi State, ministers and other members of the executive arm of government, private organizations for their notable contributions to the party's victory. APC 2023 Tinubu-Shettima presidential campaign was inaugurated in September 2022 to prosecute the 2023 presidential election. And we'll take a break now. The news continues shortly. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. Now, with 70% of the welding work completed, the sum of $1.1 billion generated from within the NNPC Limited has been spent so far on the ongoing Ajaokuta-Kaduna-Kano gas pipeline. This was revealed by the Group Chief Executive Officer, NNPC Limited, Mele Kyari, during an on-the-spot assessment of one of the sites in Ahuko in Kogi State. Lydia Sampson has details.
The pipeline has the capacity to transport 2 billion standard cubic feet of natural gas per day to 3 proposed independent power plants in Abuja, Kaduna, Kano, other gas-based industries, as well as some identified and proposed commercial off-takers along the entire pipeline route. It also includes the construction of 4 terminal gas stations, 22 block valve stations, intermediate pigging stations, with other auxiliary facilities. The group CEO, NNPC Limited, Mele Kyari, says the project will be completed on schedule.
Well, 70% of all welding work have been completed. There are very many other components of this project. So once you are able to complete the welding and put certain basic installation, you can actually flow gas into this line, and as other parts of the project continue to be delivered.
He's emphatic that the total sum of $2.8 billion will be generated internally without third-party financiers. He reiterates that NNPC Limited is not borrowing from anywhere towards the completion of the AKK.
We have so far spent over $1.1 billion on this project from our cash flow. We are a very different company today. We are a commercial company. We have intercompany loans within our company now. This company can fund this project. So we do not need any support on this project. We will deliver this project.
It may be recalled that the procurement process was supervised by Infrastructure Concessioning Regulatory Commission and endorsed by the Bureau for Public Procurement after having complied with all regulatory requirements before the approval by the Federal Executive Council at the sum of $2.8 billion in 2018. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
The immediate past Director General of the NTA, Malam Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, is calling on the people of Plateau State to unite and strategize on ways of ensuring speedy development of the state. This is contained in a lead paper he presented at a colloquium on rebranding the politics of Jos, using peace building as a tool for growth. Mary Replong Domtor has details.
Forum, which held at Wadan Kawu's Event Center Jos, attracted dignitaries from all walks of life. Chairman of the forum and former deputy leader of the House of Representatives in the Second Republic, Baba Akawu, describes the launch as apt and imperative for Plateau citizens to come together to form a formidable front capable of navigating the future generation on the path to success and peaceful coexistence. This, he says, can only be achieved when individuals and personal interests are put aside.
24 years after, the church has talked, and we discovered that in terms of dividend of democracy to our people, to our society, we are far left behind. We ask ourselves why.
Former Director General, Nigerian Television Authority, Malam Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, in a presentation titled Peaceful Coexistence, a Panacea for Social Political Growth of Society, says the time has come for every Plateau citizen to live in peace and harmony, irrespective of ethnic, religious, or political affiliation.
We need peace. We must have peace on the Plateau. We must have peace in Jos to develop.
Other speakers at the event also lent their voices on the need for everyone to contribute their quota towards speedy development of the state. In Jos, Mary Replong Domtu, NTA News.
Returning to our earlier report, President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu is back in the country ahead of the May 29 inauguration. Here now is Musba Dan Wahab with the report.
There were an unusual number of visitors on a walk-free day as all roads led to the presidential wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. Attention was focused and the cameras were set to capture the moment. APC loyalists and close allies were on ground, all eyes trained on a well-manned entrance. Some even braved the security barriers. All they wanted was to see their president-elect, who has been on vacation in France for 35 days. And finally, the man fondly called the city boy was back in the capital city. President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu was on ground in more ways than one. The president-elect, beaming smiles after a well-earned rest, has apparently returned with much energy, and perhaps some strategy is needed for a smooth takeoff of his administration in another 35 days. Back to his Asokoro residence, Bola Tinubu reunited with his vice president-elect, Senator Kashim Shettima. He insisted on talking to his teaming followers who came visiting and allayed their fears about the rumored health issue.
See me now?
No more speculation.
I'm standing before you. So, do I look like somebody who is sick? Whatever they like, they speculate. I'm healthy. as son, and I'm okay.
You're already talking about your administration and what it will look like. Can you give us a glimpse into what you have in plan?
I can't. I've not consulted people yet. And administration, you said, is not run alone. You don't govern alone. You govern with people.
We know that he went to rest, but of course, if you know Bola Ashwaju, you will know that he is one person who has gone to prepare for the 4 years ahead of him.
Now he's back to plan how to, by the grace of God, how to take over the reign of this country when the president is sworn in.
And so the president-elect is back to his private residence in Asokoro here in Abuja. Not so much has been put out yet as regards its upcoming events, but certainly his priorities will include setting up a team that will work with him, as he had promised to hit the ground running as from the first day in office. In Abuja, Musbao and Wahab, NTA News.
First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Buhari, has expressed appreciation for the support and cooperation she has been receiving from within and outside Nigeria for the accomplishment of the successful 8 years journey as Mother of the Nation. The First Lady stated this during Eid al-Fitr lunch to commemorate the end of the 2023 Ramadan fast. State House correspondent Aliu Kabir reports.
The 2023 Eid al-Fitr lunch, organized by the First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Buhari, to commemorate the successful completion of a month-long Ramadan fast in honor of foreign missions to Nigeria, development partners, wives of the service chiefs, among others. The First Lady used the opportunity to express gratitude to Nigerians, especially women folk, as well as members of the international community and development partners, for their tremendous support for the actualization of the Future Assured Agenda and the Aisha Buhari Foundation within the 8 years journey.
It is my pleasure to express my heartfelt gratitude to all for the excellent relationship that both my family and I enjoyed from you during the last 8 years. Your cooperation, support, and prayers during this period have added flavor to the success of my journey, both as the First Lady of Nigeria and the President of Africa First Ladies Peace Mission.
While urging Nigerians to extend the maximum support and cooperation to the incoming administration, the First Lady added that the cordial working relationship accorded her within the 8 years of President Buhari-led administration is significant in building bridges towards making the journey smoother, easier and productive.
I thank the Almighty Allah for our success, notably in the areas of healthcare, education, empowerment of youth and women, and in humanitarian assistance for peace and development. Aisha Buhari Foundation and Future Assured is grateful.
The Director General, National Center for Women Development, Asabe Velita Bashir, alongside APC National Women Leader, Dr. Beta Edu, as well as representatives of the National Assembly, including members of the diplomatic community and the wives of the service chiefs, have expressed confidence in the leadership role of the First Lady within these 8 years. They are also optimistic that the enduring legacies of President Muhammadu Buhari and the First Lady will continue to be beneficial to Nigerians and the world at large. From the State House, Aliu Kabir, NTA News.
The Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saad Abubakar, has received the emirs of Argungu and Gwandu on Salah homage. Usman Zubairu has more.
Traditionally, at every Fitr celebration, the emirs of Gondu and Argungu Emirates visit the Sultan of Sokoto to pay their homage and keep the long-existing relationship with the Caliphate cordial. Emir of Argungu, Alhaji Ismail Muhammad Mera, who led the delegation, highlighted the essence of establishing the first female university of medicine in the north to encourage and promote the girl-child education. Muhammad Mera said the university will train female doctors and nurses. He said currently the Nana Asma'u Center is planning to launch some writing scripts of the founders of the Caliphate, and the proceeds will be channeled to facilitating the take-up of the university. He thanked the Sultan for his support in this direction. The Emir of Argungu rejoiced with the Muslim Ummah for witnessing Eid al-Fitr celebrations. Sultan of Sokoto, Mohammed Saad Abakar, thanked the entourage for the visit, assuring that the bond that brought Sokoto, Caliphate, Gwandu and Argungu Emirate will always remain cordial. The Emir of Gwandu was represented by Wazir Gwandu Alhaji Abdullahi Umar. In Sokoto, Sumansberu, NTA News.
More news now from Lagos Center as we link up with Michael Olale. Michael?
Thank you, Cyril. Regulatory agencies must consistently track silt structures in construction sites to discourage continuation of works on defective projects. This call is coming in the wake of another incident of collapsed building, this time a 3-story building under construction on Ladipo Oluwole Street, Apapa, Lagos. Joe Popola reports that eyewitnesses say the rain hastened the collapse.
Story building, which is under construction at plot 5996, number 43B, Ladipo Oluwole Street, GRA, Apapa, Lagos, is the latest addition to the statistics of building collapse in Lagos State. The site was initially sealed by Lagos State Building Control Agency for some infractions, but the order was defied as the contractor continued the project. A resident of Ladipo Oluwole Street attributed the incident to lack of due diligence by the contractor handling the project.
When the construction was on, the regulatory agencies have been here severally, maybe like 3 or 4 times. They get it sealed, and eventually, within a few days, it will be, unsealed, open again.
One of the workers, Obinna David, who escaped from the building before the collapse, said he felt intermittent vibrations on one of the floors and hurriedly left.
So it still started falling. So I will find the capital guy. So then I ran up. After I go up, I check, I didn't see him. So the house was really shaking. I was shaking badly. So from this back of the house and the last floor, the scaffolding, so from that side to fall out. So that's how I saved my life.
Fortunately, no life was lost, neither was there any injury of any sort. With this latest building collapse, it is expected that relevant regulatory agencies will intensify their oversight responsibilities to prevent a reoccurrence. For now, the building has been sealed by the Lagos State Building Control Agency for further investigation. Officials of the Lagos State Neighborhood Watch were on ground to ensure safety within and around the building. LAPSCA officials who were at the scene declined comments. In Lagos, Joel Bukwola, NTA News.
In the midst of changing dynamics to curbing security threats, the Nigerian Army is focused on strengthening current frameworks and leveraging on new trends to tackle security challenges that has continued to bedevil the country. To achieve this, the Army is intensifying strategies on sustainability of interagency synergy to ensure successes in national security. Lynn Neneke reports.
The Nigerian Army has remained resolute in carrying out its statutory duties as entrenched in the Constitution. This middle cadre operational training is crucial to determining the successes recorded in planning and execution of operations, programs, and policies of the Nigerian Army. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, represented calls for sustainability of interagency collaboration to guarantee successes in security operations.
It is my expectation that the diverse issues discussed and lessons learned in the cadre will be put to use for the overall benefit of the Nigerian Army, other security services and agencies to enhance the discharge of our professional duties to our dear nation, Nigeria.
The General Officer commanding 81 Division, Major General Obinna Ajunwa, urged officers and men to remain professional always while embracing training as a panacea for success.
The international reviews have actually shown that we have done so much in making sure that we curtail the activities of terrorists. We will continue to train to ensure that we maintain the monopoly of legitimate violence.
Placing premium on the training of personnel and building cordial relationships with the host community, the Army believes will assist in combating security challenges. In Lagos, Lynn Neneke, NTA News.
Do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. Time for some messages, and when we return, more news with Benny Adams on the business desk.
Welcome to business. Investors and industry players, particularly the private sector, are emphasizing the need to scale up the production of Nigeria's agricultural produce and products to meet target markets like China and other leading markets across the globe, just as Nigeria is placing a premium on creating market access for made-in-Nigeria goods and trade houses in East African countries as well as Asian countries.
Our farmers now have where to take their commodities. We can take as much as possible. The China market is demanding a lot of Nigerian goods. For instance, the ginger over there, Nigeria has the best ginger in the whole world. And we have the land, we have the people. What are we waiting for?
The more of these products, the more of the agro-commodities product that we're able to bring down here, the better for Nigeria, the better foreign currency we're going to have. And that's
European stock markets close mixed as global markets stumble slightly, just as Asia-Pacific markets largely down after Wall Street post-weekly loss. Nneka Oko has more on the market across the world.
Asia-Pacific markets were broadly lower ahead of a busy week of key economic releases in the region. Most major markets were down except Japan, where the Nikkei 225 ended Monday slightly above the flat line at 28,593.52. In mainland China, the Shanghai Composite lost 0.78%, and Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index gave up earlier gains and fell 0.58%. European stock markets were mixed on Monday, with first quarter earnings season well underway. The French CAC was flat. UK's FTSE declined 0.09%, while Germany's DAX was slightly up at 0.02%. US equity futures struggled for traction at the start of the week. Contracts for the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100 were little changed following a muted end to trading last week, while the Dow Jones Industrial Average fell by 0.1%. Most African markets resumed trading in mixed territory after the Eid celebration. Ghana's GSE Composite led gains at 2.46%, while Tunisia's Tone Index led losses.
That is Business Network News continues with Cyril.
Thank you, Benny. The National Population Commission, NPC, has dismissed reports indicating that its server was hacked, a development responsible for the postponement of the local government LG level training of the supervisors and enumerators for the 2023 Population and Housing Census. A statement issued by the Director of Public Affairs, Dr. Isiaka Yahaya, says that the Commission's attention has been drawn to misleading and false information made by an uninformed staff of the National Population Commission and controller of Chanchaga local government area in Niger State, Sanusi Maigida, on the hacking of the NPC server. Dr. Isiaka Yahaya described Sanusi Maigida's statement as false and urged the public to disregard the information going on in some sections of the online media. The NPC added that it is committed to upholding the highest standards of data protection and maintaining the trust of the Nigerian people. Troops of Operation Hadarin Daji have neutralized 7 terrorists, apprehended 2 others, and destroyed several of their camps in Zurmi and Shinkafi local government areas of Zamfara State. Now let's go over to Yusuf Suleiman in Maiduguri for more reports. All right, we have to discontinue that link with Maiduguri for loss of sound there. We take a short break now. The news continues. President Muhammadu Buhari mourns the death of Hajia Hawawu Odi, the mother of Alhaji Yusuf Ali, managing editor of the Nation newspaper, saying her philanthropic efforts will continue to mark her legacy through generations going forward. In a message to the veteran leader of the journalism community in Abuja, President Buhari prays for the repose of the soul of the deceased and urges her family members to take solace in the good record left behind by their mother. Sports now. World 100 meters hurdles champion Tobi Amusho and 4 other Nigerian athletes qualify for Glasgow 2024 World Indoor Championship. Details of this and more on Sports Update.
Coach of the Under-17 national team, the Golden Eaglets, Ndoko Obade, says the team is mentally and tactically prepared to bring honors to Nigeria as the Eaglets set to begin their campaign in this year's CAF Under-17 Nations Cup in Algeria.
Hopefully, with all faith and all technicalities and tactical discipline in place, with our mental strength, capacity to do incredible things like we've done before, we might again do great things. This is what I believe.
The team, which is already in Algeria, is poised to overcome their opponents in Group B, which include Zambia, Morocco, and South Africa, as they set their eyes on the Continental Trophy. Meanwhile, Rivers United hope of qualifying for the semi-finals of the CAF Confederations Cup now hangs in a balance after they were beaten 2-0 at home by Young Africans of Tanzania in their quarter-final match on Sunday.
We lost some of our key players in today's game. If we have enough rest and we have all our preparations in top gear, we will be able to go there and also surprise them.
In table tennis, world number 12 Aruna Quadri and Omar Assa will again take their rivalry to Nairobi, Kenya, when the 2023 African Cup kicks off on May 6th at Moi International Sports Center in Kasarani, Kenya. Aruna, who missed out from the title in 2022 after suffering a thigh injury in the final to concede the title to Assa at 4-3, will be hoping to reclaim the title following his recent form at the international tournaments across the globe. Now to athletics. Nigerian World 100 meters champion Tobi Amusho, together with 4 other Nigerian athletes, are through to the 2024 World Indoor Championships slated to hold in Glasgow, Scotland. Other athletes that qualify for the tournament include Rosemary Chukwu, Favour Ofili, Favour Ashe, and Ezekiel Nathaniel. With Sports Update, I'm Austin Edemodu, NTA News.
Now for a quick check on tomorrow's weather prospects.
I'm glad you could join us. It was quite active rainfall-wise across the country, with rains over the parts of the north, the central states, and the south, with reports of flooding coming out of Lagos State. As we get into Tuesday, we expect a drop both in intensity and spread of rainfall events. There are prospects of early morning thunderstorms to the coastal parts of Cross River and Akwa Ibom and its neighboring cities. And as we get into the day, we expect isolated thunderstorms over the high grounds of Taraba and the southern parts of Adamawa. Prospects of isolated thunderstorms are also there over parts of southern Kaduna, the Federal Capital Territory, Nasarawa, and Plateau State, even though the prospects are quite slim. To the south, we expect isolated thunderstorms later in the day over the southeast and the southwest, with higher intensities expected over the southwestern states of Ogun, Ondo, Shun, and Ekiti State. And that's it from here. Thank you for watching, and see you again.
And that concludes Network News Tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Cyril Stover. Good night.